Today, let's talk about Attivio's Join Finder. We have a couple slides here to talk about what exactly it does, give you a little bit more information on how it works, and then we can also show you a demo of how it can be used in action. So let's start with what exactly Join Finder does. Attivio's Join Finder automatically builds out a graph of relationships across disparate data sources, whether they're structured, semi-structured, or unstructured. This enables a couple key pieces of functionality, including recommending joins or links between sources in a mart, finding related sources, the find link sources functionality that can help complete unifying a view, and also the ability to broadcast or propagate tags and metadata that have been applied to fields. So how exactly does Join Finder work? Join Finder builds out a graph of the related sources by taking in as much information as possible that's available about a given data source. So for example, it will pull in referential integrity from sources being brought in from a database, and will use predefined keys and joins in its model. It'll use subject matter input that can come in the form of a subject matter expert or data owner going in and publishing the best join between sources so that that is the join that will be recommended to other users in the future. It pulls in metadata such as column types and other information that might be provided about a given field. And it also pulls in sample data, the size of which can be defined when the connector is set up, and it looks for a high degree of overlapping values within that sample data. All of this information is pulled in to the Join Finder algorithm, and this algorithm builds out that graph. Once that graph is built out, that graph can then be consulted for enabling the pieces of functionality such as the recommending joins, discovering related sources, and also completing graphs and completing the unification of sources within a mart. So now that we have a better understanding of what it does and how it works, let's take a look at a demo. Okay, so here we have a mart that I've gone ahead and added a couple sources into already. So the interesting thing is that 3 of the 4 sources within the mart have already been linked. These links are recommended by Join Finder. So we can click into them, for example this country one, and we see that the 2 fields have been deemed related based off of a discovery by the system, and that this join has a very high degree of quality, which we can see by clicking on sample data and previewing some of the data that it'll be joining on. They're country names, so that makes sense. But if I thought that there was a better way to join these sources and I was a subject matter expert, I could also select a different join and click this publish button, which will then make it the default recommended join for other users in the future. But this join looks good to me for now, so I'll go ahead and continue on. This still leaves me with this transactions table, which has yet to be related to any of the other sources within this mart. So one option I have is I can click on it, and I can go over to the right. I can look at the related tab, where I can view other sources that are related to this source. Some of them may be CSVs, some of them come from a database, but which is helpful for discovering other sources I might be interested in. But the problem here is that I don't know if they'll link to other sources already in my mart. So for this particular problem, I can use this Find Link Sources button, which will give me a path or multiple paths of sources that I can add in to complete unifying my view. So I click on this button, and I see that it recommends 2 different options, the first of which is a little simpler. If I add in the balances table to my mart, it will link transactions and the customers table. This makes sense to me, so I'll go ahead and click this add button, and balances will automatically be added to my mart, and I now have a completely unified view. From here, I can publish my model and access this unified view from the BI or analytics tool of my choice. That wraps up this topic. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to watch this video.